Ziegler, and thank you so much for joining us here today. We are live, right? All right. What do you think, y'all? How beautiful is this Tweedia, which is actually a cool flower? Did you know that? But we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. We'll get to the Tweedia. So welcome, flower friends. Today's show, I'm going to be talking about how to take care of those most important cool flower babies, right? When you take them to the garden, when to transplant them, all that kind of stuff. Look at all this gorgeousness. We have so many beautiful flowers, including some cool flowers that are still going on. And as always, I'm doing a drawing for a giveaway. And don't forget, I do a live Q&A at the end of the show. And if you have a question, you just put it in the comments, start it off with @Lisa, and that will tag them so the team will pick those up, and then they'll pick a couple of those for me to actually and try to answer anyway, right, at the end of the show. So friends, before we get started, I would love it if you would hit that share button down at the bottom of your app screen, and that just, you can invite your friends, let them know that we're here. Just let them know about, we have a gardening show that demonstrates tips and stuff, and we're going to be showing all these beautiful flowers. So please invite your friends, and just a reminder also to please update and check out your phone number and your email address here inside the app. We need those to ship, and if they're not there, it just creates a problem. We can't reach out to you. So please check those out. They are required for delivery. So we want to make sure that you get your order when you're as quick as possible and where you want it to go. Now, if you're watching us on social media, I am so glad you kind of just dropped in and found me, right? But what you need to know is we do have a phone app, and inside the app, you have more options. You get to participate in the giveaway. You can create a a favorites type of list, and more importantly, you can communicate with the other live viewers through comments. So that's really kind of a lot of fun. And when you have the app, you can go back in and watch replays. You can shop. We literally have as much shopping happening day to day on our app as we do on our big website. So it's just very convenient and easy, and you're invited to do it. The app is totally free. Go to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, live shop, and download it, and join us right back here again, right? So during the show, we often sell out of items that I've highlighted. And if that happens, I would suggest to you that you actually sign up for the notifications. All that means is that we'll send you a little notification when it gets put back in stock, because oftentimes the team behind the scenes is bringing stock over from our big website here into the app. They're separate at this point, right? So you might want to sign up for that if you go to put something in your cart, but it says it's out of stock. And if you're seeing folks post the sunflower emoji, can you see the emblem on my shirt? That's part of our logo. And we love it when people post the sunflower emoji, because they're identifying themselves as the TGW family. Those are my online, or just our whole company's online course students, because we have more teachers than me, right? So we love it when that happens. Now, this week, I am giving away y'all's very favorite thing to get, and that is a $25 store credit. So if you want to be entered for that, just hit the button that Susie has up there inside the app only, and we will be pulling that at the end of the show, and you do have to be present to actually win. So check that out. So friends, I show every week, week after week, these great resources. This is my latest book. It's called the Cut Flower Handbook, and it is a powerful reference tool. In fact, I'm using it as a reference tool right now as Suzanne and I are building yet another amazing product for you guys coming up. And it just really highlights how much great information is in here. I would love to sign a book for you. It is hardback. It is 224 pages long. It is packed full of images, 66 featured flowers, 41 of which are cool flowers. And there's a bonus when you purchase it from us called The Flowers That Didn't Make the Book. It's a PDF download. There's never enough pages, y'all. And you all do remember that when I got the book deal, they only gave me 225 pages. But when they got my manuscript, they actually gave us 15 more pages, which just really doesn't happen. So love to sign one of these books for you. If you want to grow cut flowers, that is the book. That will become your go-to book. Now, this book, Vegetables Love Flowers, that I did a few years ago, is really it's not about vegetables, y'all. It's about flowers and why they are so beneficial to cut flowers, to vegetables. Sister, did you want to take a picture? So this book is about how the flowers invite in all the creatures that benefit your vegetables, from pollinators and beneficial insects and birds that eat tons of bugs, y'all. So this is about a 3-season cutting garden, and it also shares my style of gardening and farming, which means no pesticides, and how I actually do that. This book, when you purchase it from us, comes with a video book study that comes along with it. So I would love to sign one of those for you. And of course, we have the book that started it all, y'all, right? 10-year anniversary since I wrote this little book called Cool Flowers, which is about how you grow cool season hardy annuals and how significant they can be in our flowers, right? This is a whole spring garden that can bloom outdoors in the garden much earlier than everything else that we plant. The Cool Flower book, also when you purchase from us, includes a video book study for our customers. It's like a chapter by chapter behind the scenes kind of thing, right? So would love to sign this little book for you, and that's like a jumping into Cool Flower concept, which will really help you for that. So speaking of cool flowers, today we're going to talk about Cool Flower seedling care. And, giving your seedlings a great start is the best way to keep them healthy. And I think folks really underestimate the power of the beginning of life in a seedling. We know that seedlings that in those first few weeks of life are healthy and happy go on to become the most productive and disease and pest resistant plants in the garden. That's a fact. And so here are some tips that I follow, or these are my tips. And it's not for everybody, but this is what I do to grow those amazing transplants that you see me actually share and show for you guys. First off, we use living soil. I do not use a sterile soil mix. We use a compost-based mix with natural nutrients in it. And we just feel like that gives our plants what they really want and gives them the very best start. And for cool season hardy annuals, y'all have often heard me speak of, even though they're cool season, they still need warmth. So we still use a seedling heat mat. However, I place a cookie cooling rack, and that's what this is. And in fact, these were my mom's. I got them from her years ago. These have little fold down legs, and no, I have no idea where you can get these. I mean, I'm sure you can find some. These are like probably 30 years old. These are what I use. And when you're using it for this purpose to create a warmth instead of a hot environment for your soil blocks, you use a cookie cooling rack that just has about 1-inch leg on it. You place this on the seedling heat mat. You put your trays on top of this, right? And what that does, it creates a little air space between the bottom of this rack, where your trays would be, and the top of that seed heat mat, and it just cools it down a smidgen. And that's exactly what your cool season hardy annual seedlings are looking for. And of course, we plant in soil blocks because they just grow such incredibly healthy, natural root systems, right? And so that's really a big part of why our seedlings seem to grow faster, but we note, and they just have that really great start. So once we take them off the seedling heat mat, and I do that when about 50% or so have germinated, we move them over to our grow light. And there are so many different grow lights, y'all. You have to kind of figure this out for your grow lights. If you place your seedlings under your grow lights and have your lights way far away, but they're, say, a T8 or a T12 type of grow light, which are meant to be down here, your seedlings are going to stretch. So you're going to have to really do a little bit. You're going to have to know what kind of lights you have and actually do a little bit of experimenting. And so when your seedlings stretch, they're stretching for light. That means they're not getting enough. That may mean that your light needs to come down. You might want to check your light bulbs. And that means they just are not getting enough light. Air temperature, where you're growing your seedlings, also plays a really significant role. If you want your plants to grow a little faster, they need warmer temperatures. If you want to slow your plants down, cooler temperatures. Think about, you've started too early, right? Started too early. It's still hot as heck outside. And you're like, oh my gosh, I started too early. What can I do? Well, the first thing you do is cool the room down or cool the conditions down, right? So you can really help to manipulate all of that. Another really big issue that we counsel people, students on all the time is too much water. Most often, it's not too little. That's not usually the problem. It's people are overwatering, and roots need, if you can think of it this way, roots need as much oxygen as they do water. So in my mind, they spend half of their day moist, the soil, and the other half of the day dry. I water in the morning, the grow lights are on, they're in kind of warm conditions. My seedlings are happy and growing and absorbing the water. And as evening approaches, they're getting drier and drier. Then they're dry all night long, getting lots of oxygen. And the next morning, I water them again. And that's the cycle that just makes everybody happy. So I also like to feed them. This is actually the bottle out of my grow room. The Neptune's Harvest seaweed fish in my watering can every Monday. And I follow what they call, I have to read it every time, the house plant directions, which is 1 tablespoon to a gallon. So when I water on Monday, I just am watering with this in my water. So it's not really a really big deal, right? And I am a measurer. You should have a measuring spoon wherever it is you're doing this. Shake the bottle each time, put a gallon, I have a gallon watering can, put a tablespoon into the gallon, and that's what gets watered. The other part of seed starting is, fungus gnats, whenever there's moist soil, they just develop, right? And so the way that we prevent that from happening in a big old outbreak is we use the fungus gnat mosquito bits that's actually labeled for fungus gnats. And again, I put these in my water on Wednesdays. You don't want to put the two together, fertilizer and the bits. And I just put them in according to directions and water my plants. And that treats all the soil that's in my grow room. And that takes care, that either kills or prevents those larvae from developing into the little gnats that are flying around, right? So those are just ways that you can really help your seedlings just really become healthy. Now, when do you plant them outside? First off, the ultimate goal is to plant them outdoors when they're 3 to 5 inches tall or wide. The reason we say wide is like Rudbeckia doesn't grow up, its leaves grow out. So you kind of use your thoughts as kind of a guesstimate, right? But you're looking for that leaf to be 3 to 5 inches long. Now you have to harden off before you plant them out to the garden. For me, I like to pop my seedlings outdoors in a protected area about 7 to 14 days before they're going out to the garden. That gets them acclimated to wind, sun, heat potentially, and just all the things that are outside.
And what's a protected area?
In a protected area, especially for soil blocks, because you never want them to be rained on from the top because that'll destroy your blocks, is I have a carport with a little raised table out there, and that's where all of the blocks and the trays go, and that protects them from direct sun of the heat of the day, but they get morning sun from the south and the hot afternoon sun from the west, the northwest, and that is the perfect spot, right? So that way they don't get rained on. I don't have to ever think, oh my gosh, it's going to rain and I'm not at home to run out and get them. I've created a hardening off spot that I put my babies out there, and they stay out there till they go to the garden, regardless of what the conditions kind of are becoming. So with cool flowers, for all those things that are winter hardy in your winter hardiness zone, you can fall plant them. And when is that? That is 6 to 8 weeks before your first historic frost. So your aim is to have those transplants grown up and hardened off at that 6 to 8 week window. It's all about sitting down with the calendar, y'all. You can plant transplants later. You have more wiggle room because you can always hoop and cover them with a lightweight row cover to kind of give them a little bit of that extra time. I mean, I, in my mind, think if I could hoop and row cover, I could buy a month. You know, if it's like October 15th and I should have planted September 15th, if I planted October 15th, I could hoop and row cover and you create those conditions that perhaps you had like a month ago. And we are actually planting more on time now, even though it may be warmer outside, because I'm using that amazing insect netting, y'all, that I'm just loving this stuff. I use it also, in addition to protecting plants that have issues with insects, as a sun cap. And you can actually see the video on the product, I think, maybe not. We're going to show you the product today, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But the sun cap actually shades the bed, so it will cool it down a little bit. The main problem that you want to avoid in cool flowers is to not start too early and allow those seedlings to get old in the tray. You really, and I would also recommend, you know, my whole farm lives around this big calendar that we live off of. Make notes on your calendar. How long did it take you to grow Rudbeckia or Sweet William up? I mean, everybody's conditions and skills are different. And that'll really help you hit the mark next time. So when you're bed prepping, what we really recommend, we always recommend a soil test, but you should have done that like 2 months ago. Midsummer is when I like to do soil tests so you can get your results back, so that when you tear your garden down in the, you know, late summer, early fall to prepare for cool flowers, you can have your stuff that you need if you needed to add anything. We had tons of compost. Literally, I had 30 yards, that's 30 pickup truckloads of compost delivered this morning. And that's for our big cool flower garden. Compost, I mean, a 2-inch layer across your entire garden is a great general rule. We also added our general purpose dry organic fertilizer, just according to what the directions are. And then, you know, I am a huge believer and user of the biodegradable film, Bio 360, which has really allowed us to really have excellent weed control, and it really, really helps. And guess what? That's the deal of the day today, y'all. So stay tuned. Oh, that's what's up next. Hallelujah. So Bio 360 looks like plastic. I mean, it has all the attributes of plastic. It heats or cools the soil, depending on which side you put up, and it blocks light from getting to the soil surface underneath of it to sprout annual weeds. And I mean, we have a huge henbit, chickweed. I could go on. We have so many annual reseeding weeds here on my farm. So it comes with a light side and a dark side. When I'm making my cool flower beds for fall planting, we always put the dark side up, because that way all winter long the beds are going to benefit from the solar reflection of sun on this black surface, that it's just a smidgen. It's just going to warm it up a little bit, right? So when we make our beds, which there is a video on the product, you can actually see exactly how we did it, do that by hand. It can heat your soil a little bit. And this is, we always get asked, do you have to burn holes in it? People are thinking of landscape fabric, which we do not use on our beds. But this is how easy it is to pop a hole through this, y'all. I mean, we use the Bobo weeder, which I think we may have that in our lineup today. But it's super easy to pop a hole through. And so the deal of the day is the Bio 360, y'all. And this, I think this is only like the second or third time we've ever done this, is 20% off. Now, the Bio comes in 2 different lengths. The 50-foot pieces, this is how it comes to you in a package. The 50-foot pieces come in as a 1-pack, which is, these are 48 inches wide, which is for a 36-inch or narrower bed, is regularly $24.95, is on sale for $19.96, or you can get a 6-pack, 6 50-foot pieces, regularly $119 for $95.96. Now, we also now offer the 100-foot pieces because we sell to so many small growers, right? The one piece of a 100-foot by 48 inches wide is normally $39.95, is on sale for $31.96, and you can do a 3-pack of the 100-foot ones for $88.76. Friends, I can't tell you how much of a labor saver this is, but the Bio 360 will change your farming life. And what I wanted to say is that Bio 360, particularly with cool flowers, is significant because cool season weeds grow really quickly in the cool season, while your cool season flowers are busy putting down roots and not top growing. So I find it incredibly beneficial for that. So I want to do a soil blocking demo today, but before we do that, I want to show you some of my trays that literally are coming off of the Seedling heat mats. And we always start Rudbeckias first because they're like slow growers. I'm not sure what their problem is, but these are just coming off the heat. You know how I say 50% or more germinating? So this is kind of what we're looking at. This is Indian Summer that are just going into the grow lights. This is Sahara, which you can see they're just now still emerging and coming along. And then I really wanted to show you this one, Prairie Sun. It's really interesting. Even though they're all Rudbeckias, they germinate at different rates. Prairie Sun is slower. You can see all the little teeny ones that are just literally emerging. So I am going to go ahead because I can see all those tiny little seeds. And if you can see something happening in the block, that's considered sprouting. And when you have about 50%, that's when I take them off the heat and move them over to the grow light. All right, so we're going to do soil blocks now. All right, so I just want to demonstrate how I made those small blocks that you just saw. This is the small, it makes a cluster of 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks. And this is our ready-made blocking mix that's moistened according to directions, which is about 3 parts soil to 1 part water. This is a two-handed job, y'all. I often see it done very differently from this, and this is for me, has been the most quickest and efficient and the easiest on your hands. 2 hands on the stationary bar, and you just pull a shit down into the soil. I do it twice to make sure that my chambers are full. This is a potato masher, which I find to be the best tool for striking it off, as well as mixing the soil. Now, we use flat bottom trays with no drainage holes, which is what revolutionizes being able to do this anywhere in your home, in your laundry room or a spare bedroom, because there's no water running everywhere. You place the blocker on the tray and give it a push and a pull, and you have just made 20 little containers. And then I would sow 1 seed onto each block, and then they start that whole cycle that we just talked about. To a seedling heat mat, then once they sprout, they go to the grow light. And soil blocking, this is 20 plants that will be sown and grown in this block until they go to the garden. I do not bump them up. Does an amazing job. Oh, and we get lots of questions about sowing scabious seeds, because the scabious comes 2 different ways. Sometimes they come with sorry y'all, the camera's backward, that's why I keep going the wrong way. They come either cleaned without this outer shell, or sometimes they come like this. So this has it, and scabby likes to be covered. So literally the way that I actually might need a toothpick, but let's see. I just like a zinnia, you just put the pointy end in, and we do not need a toothpick. And that is, the seed is in the tip of this little crazy seed. Can y'all see that? And I'm just putting the round end in, and that provides cover. And that is how I sow scabious seeds. And do one more, and that's it. And that's how we sow scabby. All right. All right, so if you, there's several different ways that you can actually purchase the soil blocks in kits and separately and in sets. The soil block maker kit is our number one selling item for 15 years because it really just gets you set up for soil blocking. So in this kit, 5 of these reusable foam trays come with it, and this tray would hold 3 clusters of 20. It also comes with our seed pan, which is aluminum, which prevents all static electricity issues. It comes with our toothpick dispenser and toothpicks and also these plant markers. It includes the small blocker that you just saw me use. It also includes the Seed Starting Made Easy online course that I've done. Friends, this is like 116 minutes long. It's broken up into sessions. It covers starting with soil blocks from the beginning all the way through the process to planting them in the garden, as well as using the commercial Swift blocker. It also covers sowing sunflowers in plug trays, and it includes direct sowing seeds in the garden. This is the perfect online course for seed starting, particularly this time of the year because we do some direct sowing. So that's included. Then you have your choice of either 3 packs of cool season hardy annuals, or you can pick the 3 packs of warm season tender annuals. So that's all included, and it includes a bag of our ready-made blocking mix. This bag makes about 500 of those little 3/4 inch blocks. You just mix water with this and you're ready to go. So you get all of this for $89.95, and shipping on products is $9.95. It doesn't matter how many products you purchase. Excuse me. So you would get all of this for $89.95 plus $9.95 shipping, and you are all set up to actually to soil block, right? And I didn't mention earlier, in-app only, all seed packet only orders have free shipping. So now, if a seed is too large to fit into that small block, like sweet peas would be one for this season of the year, right? And calendula, then you would use the 2-inch blocker. Now, this comes to you without anything in the hole. It does come with a pack of nipples that you just pop it in that makes a little dimple in the top. And you can also, we sow sweet peas, calendula, any seed that would bust that small blocker over. And this is, oh, there it is. There's one with the nipples installed. And that makes the perfect dimple in the top and to make way for you to sow your seed. Now, if you wanted to pot up from the small block to the large block, which I do that in so few instances, y'all, but when I do it, it's important. Eucalyptus, tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers really benefit. You can purchase these little inserts that you pop the nipples out and pop this in, and it makes the perfect size hole to drop that little transplant that you started in the small block. And I will tell you that people love doing this as well as I do because it grows amazingly healthy transplants. So soil blocking mix is really significant. We've already talked about that we use living soil, right? And because you're making the container, there's no container, right? That's why this mix is different. It is, it needs to bind together instead of being light and fluffy like most seed starting mix. So we have the ready-made mix, but if you want to make your own mix at home, we have made this special soil set. Now, this soil set includes many of the things that you need to soil block. It has another one of those seed pans, which has no static electricity. It includes our toothpick dispenser and the toothpicks, as well as the fungus gnat fighting kit. In addition to those mosquito bits, this includes the yellow sticky traps, which I keep in my room to capture the adults that are flying around laying the eggs in your moist soil. But this also includes a bag of our nutrient mix. You mix this powder with your compost and peat moss or cocoa fiber, all to be sifted. You mix this in and you make your own blocking mix at home. And the best part of this whole thing is the sifter, y'all. This fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket, which makes it super simple to use and a tidy. It's a 1/4 inch. The whole kit and caboodle is $58.95. So you get everything you need to make your soil, manage fungus gnats, and to sow your seeds. So that's the soil set for $58.95. Now I mentioned earlier that we use flat bottom, no drainage hole trays. So here are some other sizes. There's the mini that holds one set of 20 of the small blocks. It's a set of 5 for $1.95. And y'all, we use these foam trays for years. They're reusable. They're not intended to be disposable. A 25 pack is $6.95. This is the small tray, which holds 2 sets of 20 or 2 sets of 4. And it's $2.95 for a 5 pack or $12.95 for a 25 pack. This is the one that comes in the kit that holds 3 sets of 20, 5 or $3.95 or $15.95 for a 25 pack of those. Now I mentioned earlier about the Seedling heat mat. This is our heat mat. And if you need a larger heat mat, we do have a big one over on our website, a much larger one. This comes with a built-in thermostat that controls the heat of your heat mat based on the air temperature. And so when I'm in seed starting mode, which is basically January to October, our heat mats are plugged in 24/7. And so this is what will warm up your soil. Most seeds germinate best from 75 to 85 degree soil temperature, yet if your air temperature is 70 degrees in your house, it's normally 15 to 20 degrees cooler. So you can see why there's that wide window of cool soil causing that issue of why your seeds may not be sprouting. So the Seedling heat mat is $39.95. And another piece that we do for our seed starting is this is the wide weave burlap that I lay on top of my soil blocks. So we sow the seeds, I put them in on the Seedling heat mat, and I immediately cover them. Because so many of the seeds that I sow are surface sown, this helps to trap moisture. We find that using plastic can really stop all air circulation and trap almost too much moisture, which really encourages stuff like dampening off and other funguses and diseases to grow. So this comes in a 36 by 36 inch piece and just helps to retain moisture, and you remove that at the first sign of seedlings starting to crack. So friends, here, this has become one of the favorites, right? This is the long spout watering can. This is super convenient. This is the one I use in the grow room. Great for watering trays as well as flower arrangements, right? To replenish the water there. So this is stainless steel. It holds 4 cups of water, and it's $29.95. And this is, I mean, you want to have one, but this is also an excellent gift. But look at this one. House plants are so very popular now that this little espresso, which holds 2 cups of water and is also stainless steel, just has a different look. And especially if you have house plants and you don't want to have so much space with that long spout, this little guy does great. And Suzanne loves making bouquets and putting it in this little espresso watering can. So that is super fun. Here's that Neptune's Harvest. What?
It's $29.95.
It's $29.95. Sorry, y'all. This is that Neptune's Harvest that I showed you earlier. It's $18.95, and this is, you mix this like a tablespoon to a gallon, so it lasts a good long time. You shake it well before you use it, and it grows amazing. I use that in the grow room and even out in our garden. Now this is planting time, right? So we brought the label and marker bundle back. This includes 10 of these 18-inch really nice markers, as well as a dozen or 10 of these 12-inch long wooden markers. And it includes our waterproof UV resistant garden marker. The markers are available separately. This bundle is $22.32, and you think you're going to remember, y'all, but none of us ever do, right? So that's a great deal, $22.32. And here's an example. That's the marker that I marked. This was sweet peas 2 years ago, the Royal Mix, and this was out in the garden for like 15 months. The marker really does hold up outside. So here is the organic dry fertilizer that we apply at every bed flip. And this is a 4-pound bag. It's based on chicken litter, and it is organic certified. It's 3 pounds to 100 square feet, which is 7.5 cups. It's $14.95, and you can find larger bags of this over on our website if you need that. But this is how we feed our soil just constantly, right? So, floating row cover. We use row cover all winter long, not really for cold protection, but for wind protection, right? And we use the lightweight because it lets the maximum amount of light, air, and water through it. So I don't have to remove my row cover when it rains. The water penetrates it. And so this is available in a 6.5 by 50-foot piece here in the app. It's $26.95. I do prefer and recommend we use it with hoops and weight bags. We have larger sizes over on our website as well as hoops. And so the row cover I really attribute to why my flowers maybe bloom a little earlier than other people's. It protects the foliage through the winter. It keeps creatures like deer and rabbits and squirrels from rummaging through your stuff. So lightweight row cover has been a really great tool for me through the years. And look at this one. This is new. Well, new here that we're offering it to you. This is insect netting, y'all. So this may look like row cover, but it's not. It's stretchy like a pair of nylon pantyhose. And it's made, it works great. Use it with hoops. You would apply it just like a row cover. Weights on it. And that will keep pests from getting to your crops. Like right now, our ornamental cut flower kale out in the garden is covered in this to keep the moth from getting to it, that lays the egg on it, that launches the baby that eats the holes in your broccoli and your cauliflower and your ornamental kale, right? It works great for that, but I also use it as what I call a sun cap. And that is where I just use large clips that I just get at a big box store and clip it to the hoops, and the sides are open just like a hoop house with the walls rolled up, and it cools your beds down, y'all. And I'm just so pleased with how wonderful it works. Now this comes in the same width, 6.5 feet, just like a row cover. A 20-foot piece is $33.95. A 50-foot piece is $82.95. And a 100-foot piece is $159.95. I'm finding this to be much more durable than row cover. It does cost more, but I'm telling you, it has incredible uses, and we really love it. Now, this is the anchor bag that I would use on row covers and the insect netting. You fill it with either your soil, gravel, or sand. I find that 15-pound bags are what hold the best. You can get a 10-pack of these for $10.95, a 25-pack for $24.95, or a 50-bag set. And I'm telling you, 50 bags don't go very far. When you start really using row cover and insect netting and weighting them properly, meaning the wind doesn't blow them off, you know that you need more bags than you think you do. So the anchor bags are really useful. So we use those pre-arched wire. I think it's number 9 wire. You can find them over on our big website. And I have used everything. I used flexible PVC pipe, a bunch of other stuff. This is what I have found the most efficient for storing them when you're not using them, the easiest to push into the ground. So you can find them over on our website. And pre-arched is super convenient. When you put in as many hoops as we do, you just find out what really wears you out, right? So next up are the gloves that I have worn probably since I started flower farming in 98, probably since 2001, I think is when I was gifted with my first pair of these, and we started selling them in 2005. This is nitrile, not latex. They should fit you like a pair of pantyhose or like a surgeon's glove, and we do everything in these gloves. They come from extra small up to large. I wear a medium and I have pretty long fingers. They run a little large is what I'm just saying. And they are $7.95 a pair. It's like the best deal in the gardening world that you could ever do. This is the most long. We have never come through the end of a pair of these. You can see we have literally had hundreds of pairs of these gloves. We wear them slick from stripping constantly. We never come through the end. You'll absolutely love them. They come in assorted colors, which you cannot choose because that's how they send them to us. But if you buy a 4-pack, you get one of each color. A 4-pack is like $24.95, y'all. This is the best gift ever, whether they're a gardener or not. People, Merry Maids wear them, FedEx wears them, bowlers wear them, quilters, golfers, best gloves ever. Then they also come in like a little bit more heavy duty version. Those were called Touch. These are the Tough. Same size, I guess, what do you call it?
Unisex.
It's unisex sizing. However, these come from small to extra large. And I do wear these in the winter. They just give you a little bit more coverage. These also are $7.95, y'all, or a 4-pack for $24.95. These gloves, in my opinion, are the best kept secret. There are so many knockoffs out there that the ones that we sell, the Atlas, are the best, long lasting. Now, this is the gloves that I'm wearing a lot of these days as we tackle all these brambles in our native border. I want you to do those. This is what's called we call these the gauntlet or the rose gauntlet. The gauntlet. This is a synthetic leather, which means it's washable, which is perfect if you fight poison ivy like I do, so you can wash it off. These come from small to extra large, and you can see they come all the way up to here. I've been wearing the same pair probably since 2004. These are really great to wear long sleeve jacket, put these on, and you're totally protected. They are $37.95, and every household should have a pair for sure. So Susie Q is going to take over.
Hi guys. So here we are with our little hanging dried flower. What do they call it? Dried flower and herb dryer. So what do you do with any flowers that you have? We used to have a lot of leftover flowers and we would try to give them to someone that could use them. We ended up composting a lot. So now what do? We dry them all and use them in wreaths or different crafts after we're done. And this is the perfect little dryer for someone that is just a home gardener that doesn't have a lot of flowers to hang. But this makes it just beautiful, so you can hang it somewhere where it can be seen while your flowers are being dried. And it comes with the little hooks to hook around the little rubber band is what we usually do to the end of the flowers and hang them up. So this is a perfect little gift for someone that has a little cutting garden or likes to get flowers or buys flowers. The rack is $26.95, and it's just perfect for a sweet little gift for a gardener. Next up, we have our plant Velcro. The plant Velcro is awesome. It sticks to itself, so you can cut it to any size and you just wrap it around and it would stick to itself and secure. Things like tomatoes and vines, and that's all great for earlier in the season, but what do we use it for now? I use this to attach garland to my staircase. It won't damage your wood. You can use it for decorating outside. And we normally, around the farm, would cut like 12-inch strips and just keep them and use them over and over. Usually 12 inches is enough to do whatever you need to do, and you just wrap it until it's good and then leave it. And at the end of the season, you just pull it off. We have a ball of them. We just ball them all up together and leave them till we use them again the next season. And I can't tell you how many uses we come up with when we're trying to jerry-rig something to use this. It's awesome. The Velcro plant ties are $7.95. It's 50 foot long, 1/2 inch wide, and you cut to the length you need, and they're reusable. Next up, we have the weather stick. So the weather stick here is made of balsam wood, and it's the same thing they make divining rods out. And a divining rod is when they're out looking for water and they have those little wooden pieces that go back and forth and tell them when they have water. It's made of the same thing. This will tell you what the weather's going to be like. It has a little hole here in the top. You attach it to a pole that you can view from in your house, and when the weather is good, it curls up, and when the weather is bad, it curls down. And mine has actually touched the pole that it's attached to when the weather is bad. This one, of course, has been in an air-conditioned room in a bag, so it's perfect weather if you ask me. So this is the best gift. People are sure it's not going to work, and once they get it and see it, then they have to have one for all of their friends. So if you want to really impress with a gift for anyone, especially if they spend time at home, that's really very meaningful. And the weather stick is only $10.95, and be sure to get a few because people love them. They are so much fun to watch. All right, so next we want to just remind you about the deal of the day, and it's 20% off the Bio 360. I also use this in my landscape at home. You can plant through it. It just prevents those weeds from coming up. So I put this down in my landscape anywhere that there's not a plant, and it just helps prevent those weeds from coming through. I just put mulch on top of it so you can't even see it. And remember, it's 20% off, and shipping is capped at $9.95. Normally, this may occur extra shipping on our website, but in the app until Sunday morning at 8 a.m., you can get as much as you want at the $9.95 shipping. All right, reminder, if you haven't already signed up for the giveaway, just hit the buy button now. You're not buying anything. It's just going to put you on the list that we randomly choose a winner at the end of the show. And you do need to be present to win. And I can feel a bug crawling on my face. That's what you get when you get flowers. So please sign up. We would love to give you this $25 gift certificate that you can use to purchase today. Next up, we have Lisa, and we're about to start our harvest show.
All right, friends, we are about to run through a bunch of gorgeous flowers, but we always start that off with our desiccant packs. This is how you help to store your seeds dry and cool. And that means you can buy seeds when you meet them and then store them properly, and you can have them ready to roll when it's time to actually start them. 2-pack is $2.95. A 10-pack is $9.95, because you know my motto, you buy a seed when you meet it, and then you file it under the appropriate season to actually start it. So friends, look at this. This is Tweedia Heavenly Blue. This is a cool flower, y'all. And this stuff was planted in very early spring. It is still going strong. We've had a very dry summer here. And some of these, Suzanne, I guess, can you grab me one of the really tall ones? I wanted to show folks. So these stems are pretty amazing. We actually pulled out the tallest ones because Suzanne's making two big arrangements after the show is over here today for a family friend. So look at these beautiful blooms, and look how tall these boogers are. I mean, the stem length is absolutely amazing on these. So that is Heavenly Blue Tweedia. And once we get it packaged, if you get on the wait list, as soon as we have it packed, you'll get a notification and be ready to plant that in very early spring. And friends, look at this. So, we love having Rudbeckia at this time of the year. This Rudbeckia was actually planted later. We've been experimenting. We started this seed mid-April. We planted it mid-May, trying to get later blooms in the fall season. And here we go. This is Indian Summer, which is one of my favorite Rudbeckias. But look, this is everybody else's favorite, Sahara, y'all. So we have Sahara blooming this fall. She's just getting started. So sometimes you just have to push a little bit outside of your box and you get really great results. We still have straw flowers that were very early spring planted, another cool flower, that are still just blowing flowers like you cannot even believe. Look at these colors. How amazing would that be for fall? So that is a cool flower. They dry beautifully. And I wanted to show you guys, so, I'm always talking about our rooster peppers. How would a stem of this in a bouquet be? Totally awesome, right? What's special about rooster? This is it. So normally I would have done this out in the garden, but what's unique about rooster peppers is that the foliage is up near the top so that you can actually strip it fairly quickly. And this is actually a double head. This may not. If you've ever grown ornamental peppers and tried to strip, you know that this is a walk in the park. This is a high value stem, by the way. Florist, commercial customers will definitely love them. So within just a few seconds, which of course has been much quicker with me doing it out in the garden instead of me talking to you and trying to look at you and look at what I'm doing. So there you go. It's almost stripped. That's what's unique about rooster peppers. I say to you that this is an incredible cash crop. You can use them green early. Then as they turn red, you can use them. You can dry them to do wreaths for your fall sales. Rooster peppers are absolutely amazing. All right. Now, we've often talked about how sunflowers can get smaller in the fall, shorter days. These are Pro Cut Bouquet Mix. If you've been following along with me, you know that normally they're this big. We're in a drought here. These have not been watered, but they're still producing. Our customers love these small sunflowers. They don't even recognize them as sunflowers. They think they're some kind of daisy. So Sunflower Bouquet Mix is still coming in strong. And then, of course, we plan to have this Mahogany Splenda. Super, I mean, the stems are incredibly long. They are super productive. This is Mahogany Splenda. And again, this is super productive. You do not need to plant very much of that. You only want one stem of that for a bouquet. A bouquet of it is very dark, as well as this is Purple Ruffles Basil. So it smells delightful, as well as it's got that dark leaf. But again, be careful. Don't use too much of that. So that is Purple Ruffles. And then another basil that we grow only in the fall typically is Cardinal. It has that dark flower and a darker stem. It has that classic basil smell. And it's just a great addition. I mean, people just, what's the first thing they do? Pull flowers up to their snoot, right? So you've got to give them something to smell. Look at this, y'all. This is Parvula gum eucalyptus. This is my favorite. Look how little the leaf is. It just is more useful. We absolutely love this stuff. It's a little bit different color. That is Parvula gum. And if you want it, get on the wait list. As soon as we get a seed in for eucalyptus, it goes out to the wait list and gets gone. This is Polyanthemus. We do have this seed. Look at that leaf, y'all. It's really beautiful. I love them all, y'all. This is the classic. This is Silver Dollar, and we have this seed too. This is the one that people really love to preserve with glycerin, I think. It's just really beautiful. And now I have every coxcomb just about. Look at this. This is Act. This is a single stem. Those colors are fabulous for fall, y'all. So all of these have, wait till you see this. This is the Act Green. Look how tall they are. They're enormous. This is a color you can use anytime, anywhere, with anything. Love the green. And I will say that we're drying a lot of that this year, testing it out to see does it turn brown, and it's looking pretty green over there. This is orange red kurumi, and this is the most productive coxcomb I've ever grown. Great summer bouquet ingredient, right? We really love that. And then people love this. This is Corona. This is the bicolor, and it has that I don't even know how to, magenta, dark maroon kind of color. That's not right. Hot pinky kind of color, as well as look at all those bicolored blooms. It is really a great one. And then this is one that not only is great for fall, but you got to have this for 4th of July. This is Higuiko Ku. I kill it every week, y'all. I mean, all of these. This is the social media reels that you saw me harvest in this forest. They're absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. And how many of these could you use this fall? Again, look how tall it is. So beautiful. And, you know, you can just see showing you dark colors, and when a light one comes in, that's how bouquets get, right? You want to be careful. Look at this. This is Orange Queen Improved. This is gorgeous. So useful. And look at, this is our Jura salmon seed. We actually grow this seed, or had it grown for us. This is fabulous color. And this is the Kramer's mix, which is the most best drying. It's got rose, burgundy, and lime green. And it was hybridized for drying, so it holds its color. And it's another just giant. And then this is a new one for us last year. This is Crystal Beauty. Look at that blush color. And this is a brancher. It's really kind of beautiful. And then y'all know that orange is my favorite color, right? Here's persimmon. This is a major ingredient for our summer bouquets when we were doing supermarkets. It's really beautiful. And then this is another one that we had the seed grown. And I'll tell you that we didn't get seed grown this year. So the Jura salmon, and this is our Texas plumes. Get the seed while it's available. There are so many. I'm trying to find which way I should show this to you. It's such a variety of shades, from these pale salmon, shrimpy colors to yellow and white. Super tall. That's the Texas plume, and I believe that there's big packs and smaller home gardener packs. You'll absolutely love that. And then this is my go-to year-round. This is sylphid, and this is a yellow. They call it green-white, and that's a really great description. This stuff is so tall. This will go with anything. In demand. And then our Sunday series. This is the mix. See all the different colors? And there are more colors, actually. But look how tall this stuff is. When celosia is happy and gets a great start, it just has excellent stem length. And then this is that bright pink. This is like bubblegum color. It doesn't matter the season. It's just really, really useful. And then, of course, orange is always in season. Around here anyway, right? But this is great for fall. And then we have the gold, which is just another great fall, right? And y'all, these are things we'll just harvest all fall long. And then the Sunday series also has a white green. They aren't quite as tall as sylphid. It's just personal preference. And then this is one of my very favorite plumes. This is the High Z, which has a great stem and foliage, and it's a magenta color, and it's super productive. Really, really love it. So now let's take a look at some of these zinnias this year. It's because it's a dry year, y'all. This is the Lemon Peach Queen Series. Look how beautiful. Lots of variation. I feel like the Queen Series was made for fall. I don't even know that I would plant it for earlier in the season. If I was selling retail flowers, then this is the Lime Orange, which is just another fall given, right? And then they also have just the plain Queen Orange, which is basically like an Oklahoma size orange zinnia, which again is just really useful this time of the year. And then this is the Queen Lime. Totally love this. Lime green makes everything else pop. It has the same effect that blue does. And this has been the best year for the lime red. Look at that. Very Victorian. Very fall, right? Really beautiful. And we're also having a great year for the cactus zinnias, which really have different colors than our Benary's Giant. I love this really dark, hot pink. And cactus zinnias have a frilly petal versus a flat petal. And then this is Inca, which is an orange mix of cactus zinnias. And I'm a big fan of the Uproar Rose. This is a magenta color. In addition to it being a great color, it's incredibly productive, very uniform grower. They're just a great one to grow in your garden, as is Zowie. This is definitely one we plan to start harvesting late summer into fall. The color combo is just phenomenal. And then this is my real favorite. This is Oklahoma, and I love it because it's so small. I just love having these in a little white pitcher on my kitchen table. It's really, really beautiful. And it's nice to have different size zinnias. When you're making bouquets, all of this gives you interest. So now we're hitting the Benary's, and this is the wine color. The wine is just, they're just really beautiful. But again, be careful. I wouldn't do a whole bouquet of wine because it just gets them really, really dark. Now, this is a color I wouldn't necessarily grow for fall, unless you're having a little baby girl come into your family or something. But this is a great one all season long. And of course, white is a great one all year long. And friends, remember, this is how we're cutting them when they're still green. Early on, they show blemishes really early, so you have to cut them earlier, unlike the dark ones, which you can let develop a little bit more. This is deep red. And then this is coral. Look how pretty that is. It's almost like it's fluorescent when you're in its presence. It's really, really beautiful. And again, who doesn't have enough yellow flowers? Yellow is just like white, y'all. You want to cut it like this before it's even developed those florets, because then it's actually kind of like over the hill, right? It's going down. You want it to be in your customer's home for that. This is scarlet. I know you have to have a ton of these at 4th of July, y'all. Ton. We've had cat fights over red flowers, 4th of July markets. No lie. This is salmon, which is a great fall color, right? More orange. Notice how many more oranges there are than any others in your color. It's my choice, right? How gorgeous are they? Totally love them. And then look at this. This is carmine. This is like watermelon or bubblegum color. It's really beautiful. Really love that. And then this is lilac, which is the paler of the two purples. This is my preference. Then this is purple. And if you want to see them together, when you see them together, you can tell the one on top is lighter than the one on the bottom. But if you're a purple fan, you probably want both. And y'all, look at this. This is white swan marigolds. No fragrance, y'all. You know it's the foliage that causes the smell. These buttercream colored white swans, I mean, literally, there's no fragrance. So this makes them huge. Throw these. We just had a bucket dump.
I kicked the bucket.
Suzanne kicked the bucket. Oh, well, we won't see y'all next week then. So this is one I would grow all season long. I mean, this would be started early spring to plant 1st of spring and to head on out. And then this is the cocoa yellow. These are beautiful. I'll tell y'all that marigolds really floated our supermarket bouquet program for years because they last so long. And I love them like this when they're green inside. Earlier is better than later. Now this is the mix. Look how beautiful they are. I mean, if you're a small grower, like we're doing next year, it's a whole big project. We're talking about that over in the club, right? That I would grow the mix, right? If you're a small grower, growing mixes, you know, if that'll work for you, allows you to grow more and less. Totally love that. Then this is the cocoa gold. And then this is the cocoa orange. So the colors are available separately. And then, of course, the Cosmos are really putting on a show. This is the Double Click Rose Bonbon, which is, they're the doubles. And friends, this is how they should be cut. This or even a little tighter, like this actually. And this is what they should be doing in your customer's vase, right? And this is also Double Click, but it's cranberries. Was this made for fall or what? Look at that. It's just beautiful. And literally just a vase of these. This is what I found people really, really loved. Now this is my favorite Cosmo for fall. This is Rubenza. And he blooms really dark. And then it fades like a pair of stonewashed blue jeans. Totally love them. And then look at this. Again, white fixes everything, y'all. This is the fizzy white. There's fizzy white, afternoon white, and double click white. I love fizzy. This is really, really beautiful. Totally love that. And friends, we're going to finish it off. Look at this Gumfrina. Look how tall it is. How gorgeous. This is for this arrangement Suzanne's going to be making. How beautiful. Gumfrina, you can never have enough. Once you master how to grow it and how to cut it effectively, Gumfrina will be your friend. So friends, stick around. We're going to do a Q&A in just a minute, but just a reminder that over on our big website, thegardenersworkshop.com, we have a ton of free resources. There are videos and blogs and podcasts. We actually have 2 podcasts, Field and Garden, And then also Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane. And yesterday's that just dropped for Seed Talk is cool flower timing troubles. So here's the bottom line. The whole month of September, Seed Talk is having troubleshooting of cool flowers each week, different areas. So yesterday's was timing troubles, and wait till you see what, other frequently asked questions and troubleshooting that Lane and I discuss on that podcast. And so this Wednesday, hosting our Ask a Flower Farmer is Lenny Larkin, good friend. She's a flower farmer on the West Coast. Lenny is the author of the book Profitable Flower Farming, or Flower Farming for Profit, I think is the name of the book. But she did a short course for us called Profitable Flower Farming. And we've had amazing ratings about it. So Lenny's going to be hosting on this Wednesday. Bring your questions to her. She is over in Oregon or Washington State, over on that side of the world. So bring your questions, show up for her, and show her some love and ask her some questions. And remember to meet us back here next Friday for the live show again. And now we are going to have the drawing for the winner of our $25 store credit. And I hope you're here. I hate it when someone's not here. It doesn't happen very often. All right, are y'all ready? Drum roll, please. Pretend. Our winner today is Beth Fisher. Beth, if you are here, give us a shout out in the comments, and Jesse will drop 25 buckaroonies right into your shopping cart. So Beth Fisher, if you're here, congratulations, and give us a shout so you can claim your 20. She's here. Awesome. Congratulations, Beth. Thank you so much for participating. And somebody, I'm not sure who it is, Jesse probably, is dropping 25 bucks into your shopping cart as we speak. And so enjoy that. What a day to get Bio 360 on sale and a $25 credit. Anyway, all right, friends. So stick around for the Q&A, but if you're leaving, thanks for joining us, and see you next time. All right. So I'm assuming that's Pro Cut Fall Mix. My Pro Mix Fall Blend, that must be the Fall Medley, I'm guessing, have flowers that came out deformed. Any suggestions? Typically in sunflowers, and it happens in all sunflowers, that's insect damage. Most often that's from tarnish bugs. They interrupt the bud when it's developing and makes it come out really funky looking. So you need to figure out what pest you have. A lot of times you can submit a picture of a deformed flower to your local extension agent, because they're local, they're familiar with what pest you might have. They can probably help you out with that. So how many cool flower plant varieties should I plant in a 3x10 bed? What a great question. And I did that last year. And actually I was trying to do a course on it, but then we had a big tree fall on our farm, 100-foot tree, and it smashed the bed. Anyway, so I would say in a 3x10, I probably had 5 to 6 different varieties. I actually had 2 3x10 beds. One was warm, one was cool. And I just tried to create a nice mix of different shaped flowers. And now that I'm there, so I'd had Scabiosus, Yarrow, Snapdragons, of course, a Sweet William. I can't think of what the last one was, but I'd say 5 to 6, because you don't need a lot of anything, right? And definitely net it for sure. And if a tree falls on it, I'm so sorry, because I was pretty heartbroken over that. Frost date, October 15th. Can I still start seeds for fall planting in Zone 7A? So I will say this first. Your zone only tells you what would survive your winter, right? What's winter hardy in your zone. It's your frost date that tells you when to plant. So if your first historic frost date is October 15th, that meant that like September 1st was your optimal planting time. Actually, October 15th to September 15th to August 15th. So September 1st to the 15th would have been I'm looking now for your date again. Can you go back up, Susie? I can't see the question. October 15th. So your optimal planting time would have been the end of August into September. And so we're kind of there, right? You can push the envelope with transplants, which I mentioned earlier when I was talking about row covers. You could start transplants now, hop to it, grow them quickly as you can, give them the conditions that they need, and then when you plant them, you can hoop and row cover them. You can still direct seed. You know, you direct seed and plant transplants at the very same time in the garden. Those seeds and those transplants need the same runway before that first frost day. So you can definitely direct sow those things that can be direct sown. For me, that's poppies and bells of Ireland and bachelor buttons, larkspur, bupleurum, nigellas. So there's still a bunch of stuff you can direct sow. And I'm a big fan of now, I didn't used to be strong enough to say this, you know, if you've missed that window so big, I would direct seed those things that prefer to be direct sown and then get it marked on your calendar for next year. Better to do everything on time and be successful than to be late and have a failure and then you feel like you're never going to do it again, right? So you haven't missed completely out. I'm trying to figure out what I can direct seed outside now versus transplants for cool flower crops. So as I just mentioned, that transplanting and seed sowing out in the garden both happen at the same time. That 6 to 8 week window before your first frost, that's the runway, right? When you plant a transplant, baby plant, that baby plant spends those weeks getting established before cold starts. The seed you would have planted on that very same day of a variety that prefers it that way would have spent that runway sprouting and growing into a little plant before it hits winter. So I hope that clears that up for you. So I'm going to answer this one last question, and that is, do you recommend the Bio 360 for raised beds? Yes. And you have to experiment. So we've been doing a lot of, so I have several different types of beds here on my farm. I have my mounded, tear down, conventional beds that we till, rip them down, rebuild them each crop, right? Then I have a permanent area of our farm that has raised beds that we don't tear them down like that. And then I have some wooden, we call them Joe beds. They're Joe Lample beds that are tall, 18-inch tall wooden framed beds. I have now very successfully used Bio 360 in all of them. But you just have to kind of figure it out. In the framed beds that I have out there, before I put it down, you know, I do all my soil prep and I kind of loosen the edge around the frame and I just use a shovel to pull back a little bit so I can tuck the film down in there. And in our no-till beds out in the field, the long beds, we put the Bio 360. I pull the we have mulch or leaves in the pathways out there. I rake the mulch back from the edge of those beds completely, and then I prepare my soil, and then I put the film down and weight it down with the weight bags. I mean, I install it the normal way I do, and then I just rake the mulch or the leaves back around the edge of the bed, and I, you know, enhance that, add to it if I need to, and that secures the Bio 360. It does beautifully that way. So yes is the answer to that, and I've done them all different ways. But you just have, it is not, you're not going to do it perfect the first time you do it. Be prepared for that. Any film takes a little bit of practice to learn how to do it. So check that out. And friends, we've run over today because I don't know why. I'm just yammering on. So thanks for joining me here. Congratulations to you, Beth. And see you on the next show next Friday. See you right here. Same time, same place. Ciao, friends.